Good evening, fellow YouTubers. I was going through my comments today and someone brought something to my attention in reference to the content that I'm putting out. Well, it's simple. We all know that you can't please everyone. And for those that had these bright ideas on certain things, and I've always asked people if it's something that you wanted me to discuss, we can do that. But it's the way you go about doing things. So if you coming to me all negative, I think the quick fix to that is, why don't you create some content? You know, you get your own channel, you just start putting things out there, because I've heard a lot of people say that this is not easy. My hardest part behind this is finding the time throughout the day to do these videos. So with that being said, if you have any kind of issues with, you know, the things that I've been putting out there about my vehicle, or the comment was made about my personal life, but to be honest with you, I really haven't delved deep into my personal life. It's just about things in passing, because I'm talking about certain things in my personal life doesn't necessarily mean that it was my last relationship. These are things that are compiled over, I would say, the last 35 years, to be honest with you. So to the person, and yeah, I know you want me to call, you know, shout you out, but I'm not going to do it. You know, just post you some videos and talk about those certain things that you brought to my attention that was very negative, because I think the things that you were saying and how you were saying it was based on the negativity in your life. Excuse me, everybody. Excuse me. And we all have those things. We all have those things from our past that we've gone through, you know. And if you're still trying to deal with something that was 5, 6, 10 years ago, then maybe you need to speak to a professional and they can help you. So that being said, I think everybody finding their individuality in this whole YouTube channel or vlogging or whatever you want to call it, that's great, because, and I'm not knocking these people, but for me to sit here and go through YouTube and I'm watching the exact same dance to the exact same music, the exact same skits, people doing, and not only they doing it, you got couples playing the exact same prank on each other. But people seem to like that kind of stuff. I mean, how many different times you gonna see somebody slip something hot in somebody's ice cream, or slip something hot in somebody's burrito? I mean, come on now. So with that being said, we can talk about whatever y'all want to talk about. We can talk about marriage. We can talk about divorce. We can talk about what to do when somebody walks out on you, what to do. You just keep moving on. Because when you're with that person, do not make that mistake of you all have to rely on each other to get by month to month. That person may have the impression that it takes both of y'all, but it really doesn't. You know, and to be involved with somebody that's not carrying their fair share of weight is not good. And I'm not even just talking about money. I'm talking about trying to run a household. If that person's just taking everything for granted, why are you involved with that situation? You know, I've been in situations where I knew it was coming to an end. And even before it came to an end, I tried to work it out. I tried to stick and stay, because I'm the type of person, I like to fix things. But that person has to be willing to fix it too. So back to the comment that the young man made, you know, you probably got a lot of problems that you need to deal with, and get on there anonymously. You don't even have to show your face. Just be anonymous. Talk about what you want to talk about without dragging somebody's name through the mud. You know, just be honest about it. I can't discuss something that's going on in your personal life unless you and I sit down and actually have an interview live on my channel. And if you're local, if you're in the Metro Atlanta area, I invite you to do so. That way you can kind of understand what's going on in the world. And instead of trying to cross over and badger another man, you should be trying to help your brothers. You know, we all need to try to help each other. If you see a young man struggling, and if you can help him out, you can help him out in conversation, do so. You know, I felt like I did that last weekend. I was minding my own business. I sat down and had lunch. Come to find out, the young man that worked there, I think a lot of things that I talked to him about kind of helped him. You know, even though he brought up some personal issues about his marriage or whatever, I think I said some very positive things to him based on their marriage because I didn't know him. And I could tell he probably was going through something. That's why I just kept talking to him, even though he was at work. So we have to do that. Sometimes when you sitting down and you sit in this restaurant and that young lady, that young man comes over to serve you, excuse me, y'all, this is a nice air. You can look at them and tell that maybe they're going through something. You don't flat out ask them what's wrong. You just get them to open up because they probably had so much bottled up. And if you can make that person smile and laugh, you probably made their day. So these are some of the things that we need to be careful with, how to approach people. You don't just go all off on somebody. And I've had my days that I went way left on people, and I happen to enjoy going left and going off on somebody. But they have to be deserving of even that. But, you know, like I was saying earlier to the young man that that I could read your comments and I could read the pain that you're going through. I don't know what it is personally. But, you know, get it right. If you don't want to talk to a family member, go, like I said, go out to dinner, sit down, talk to a complete stranger. You know, you can go up to a bar and sit down and make a friend for 30 minutes. Somebody will hear your story. And maybe that somebody will give you great advice because he or she don't even have a dog in the fight. So they're going to give it to you real. But you have to be willing to accept the real. When they ask you about what are you talking about, you know, every argument is not based on one person. It's two people involved, and sometimes three, if not more. So then that's a whole nother can of worms. But you can't always go out there and say all the negative things about that one person. I've been guilty of that. I'm not perfect. You know, we all have done that. But now going forward, you know, you have to kind of meet someone where they're at. If the energy is positive, you can remain positive. But if energy is negative, you can move on. You ain't got to say nothing smart to the person. You ain't got to stand there and argue with the person. You can just simply move on and enjoy your life. You know, that's what it's all about. We all getting along together. And I know you can't get along with everybody. That's not exactly what I'm saying, because sometimes you might have to cut somebody out. But, you know, my decision to do this YouTube channel and get this YouTube channel off the ground was based on the things I talk about is from my personal life, my truths. I don't have to get on here and lie and the only thing I will make up, it may be somebody's name to protect the person I'm talking about. You know, other than that, I ain't got nothing but truths to tell. You know, whether it's the good, bad, the ugly, the dark side, or the wildness, or the freaky stuff. You know, it is. You know, I'm all around when it comes to all this stuff. You know, I can talk about it without feeling uncomfortable about it, because, you know, I'm at this point in my life now that, as far as human beings, I'm talking about humans. I'm not talking about who you believe in, who you pray to. As far as human beings, I don't have anybody I have to answer to based on the things that I talk about. So with that being said, you know, I have a pretty free and a carefree, laid back lifestyle. My whole day today was spent just carefree. I did the things I absolutely wanted to do without disturbing anybody. I may have slipped up and told one person my plans today, but, you know, other than that, I had planned on having a great day. And when you can start having those great days, your life is going to get better. Don't sit in that dark room worrying about what he and she did to you. You probably had your moments of that, but you got to get up and walk away from it. Because I'm here to tell you, it gets better. You know, once I realized it was actually truly over with that last situation, the next day I was 100% better, because I put it in the hands of who I believe in praying to. So once you release yourself from all that stuff, you can't help but to move forward. Then you're going to have these people that come in and out of your lives, and when they cause you hurt and turmoil, trust me, karma is going to come back around. And a lot of times they're going to want to try to come back and get in your life. But you know that's not a good idea, because you came through it. Sometimes by the skin of your teeth, you made it through to the other side. Do not re-enter that situation. Move forward. Have a great life. Whether you decide to just date openly, be honest with the people that you're dating. Hey, look, I'm not settling on not one person. I'm just happily dating openly. I don't expect anything. No. And you can be honest with that person. And that person can choose to set whether or not they want to spend time with you, because actually, if you're telling this young lady that you're dating openly, she may want something more serious. So she gets to make that decision whether or not she wants to spend that time with you, or in her eyes, waste that time on you. So learn to be honest with people. First, you have to learn to be honest with yourself. But as far as the content that I'm putting out here, I welcome ideas. But if you're angry about something, and if you message me, leave a number. Leave a way for me to contact you. I'll call you. We can talk about whatever you want to talk about privately, because I don't want to run a risk of my page coming down, my channel rather, because I'm trying to air something that's not very tasteful. So if it's something that you really, really, really need to talk to, somebody you really want to talk to, you can leave your number. I'll call you. We can talk about it. Because sometimes it's good to talk to somebody. You don't necessarily have to go see a professional that has all these degrees hanging on the wall. Sometimes it's just good to talk to somebody. That's all. Somebody that can't be biased, somebody that can't choose one against the other, just somebody to talk to. So with that being said, I hope everybody have a great Saturday night and even better Sunday morning. I'm going to end this video because I have some other things I have to take care of before I get ready for bed. And everybody have a great night, and we will be in touch with you again really, really soon. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.